Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 1456, written by ADHD Cowboy. An EMT's dream leads to a real-life crisis. I don't know how I'm still alive. I've had quite a few close calls and brushes with death. Don't know if I'm lucky or God wants me around for a while longer. But more on the point of the question. When I was 19, I was fresh out of a job training for the National Guard. Following this, I took a class to get my EMT license in the downtime I had before starting college. I was asleep and having a dream. Side note, I'd been having a lot of dreams and nightmares at the time. This dream was me and my partner going to a guy's shop, and about all I remember is leaving and thinking, man, I hope that guy will be okay. Then boom! Big as hell explosion that sounded a little too realistic, and thus realizing I'm in a dream, I wake myself up to look at my watch. 4:30 a.m. on the dot, grab a gun, and run out to the living room. My dad is still sound asleep, and I wake him up asking if he heard an explosion, thinking maybe a neighbor's farming equipment blew up or something. He says no. I go outside and don't see anything burning or a glow from anything burning, so I go back to my bed thinking it was a surreal dream. Later that day, I visited my mom at work, and she told me that a body shop in a town 30 miles away from the house blew up when the owner lit the propane heater, and he was pretty messed up. Perplexed, I asked what time it happened, and she says it was 4:30 that morning. I'm floored because there's no way I should have heard that from that far away, 30 miles, especially not when my dad didn't hear it as well. He sleeps lighter than I do. I still wonder about that to this day, and I've asked a lot of people about their opinions, and no one has a good guess beyond coincidence. The second story. I used to work at a hospital doing security work, and one day in rounding in the newest part of the hospital on the top floor or roof, maintenance stuff and AC units, was up there with my friend and coworker, and we both heard a cat meowing. Wasn't my friend, as we were next to each other, and we heard it a good ways down the hall. There's definitely no one else around and no way for a cat to get up there to my knowledge. Never found it, but we weren't the last ones to hear it. Case file 1456. An EMT's dream leads to a real-life crisis. The subconscious human mind is aware of so much more than is fed into the conscious mind. It's curious, we can ask the question, what force decides what the subconscious is allowed to feed into the conscious self-aware self? What is directing that? Is it just pure quantum chaos that decides, or is there some other force acting upon it, like a soul? Makes you wonder. Case file number 1457, written by Nanto-Aerialana, Vanishing in the Mountains. I live deep in the mountain countryside, so activity was low. Small town. The area has massive field mountain walking paths, and a few road and walking paths around a small train station, a metal factory, and the tiny town where I lived. I was walking alone in the fields for a day walk, and I passed by two women. The directions we were walking in are theoretically impossible to come back around to in time to cross each other quickly. So I enter a concrete walk path, no one even around, by the factory 3 minutes in, and who do I see? The same woman. Both of them. I casually said hello, but then it clicked. I've seen them before. I turned and they were gone around the corner, but damn it, I've never turned so fast in my life. Never saw those women again, never. In the few years I've lived there, I've seen them only that day. I went out for walks every single day, so I had a good probability of seeing them again, and yet I never did. Never spoke of it until here. This wasn't at night, this was in clear daylight. Case file 1457, Vanishing in the Mountains. That you never saw them again means they weren't rooted in that place in time. I'm guessing the trail has existed for a while, deeper in the past, and they were traveling on it, walking normally, in the past, and then you saw their echo in the future, another echo in time. Case file number 1458, written by D615, The Mysterious Lady in a Luxe Boutique. I live in the USA. My sister and mother were in my home country. My mother passed away, and my sister went to this new Luxe department store to buy some mourning clothes. Now, my sister is extremely particular about shirts and tops and only likes the ones my mom used to buy for her 35 years ago on overseas trips. My sister asked the sales staff whether they have any tops in a specific color. Then a customer my sister had never seen before, someone who looked just like a younger version of my mom, had suddenly appeared in my sister's side, reached out into the racks and pulled out 2 tops in the exact color, fabric, and size my sister likes. Then she said something that my mom always used to tell my sister when getting ready for an event. My sister described this customer to me as looking like a younger version of my mom with a 50s hairdo we've only seen in photos. My sister and I were born in the 60s, when my mom had longer hair, which she put up into a beehive do. By this time, I was on my way back to my home country. After the funeral, I visited the shop once my sister and once by myself, and could not find tops like that. They usually have items in multiple sizes. When I went with my sister, she insisted we could leave from the service elevator in the back. I was just as insistent that we couldn't because of high security. She told me that the lady who had helped her left from the back entrance. When I went there by myself, I spoke with the manager, who called the 5 sales clerks to help find another of the tops. I even showed them a photo of my sister in one of the tops that she had bought only a few days ago, but none of them remembered having the item. Summary: a lady who looked and spoke like a younger version of my mom found the exact kind of clothing item my mom used to buy her on overseas trips 35 years ago for my sister in her exact size, and had seemingly vanished through an extremely high security area. So this stranger, who looked just like a younger version of my mom, down to her 1950s hairdo style we've only seen in photos, reached into the racks of a Luxe contemporary department store and pulled out 2 tops that fit my notoriously hard-to-please sister perfectly. And no, it's not a resurgent style because there were no other items like that around. Case notes, file 1458. The mysterious lady in a Luxe boutique. Remember, soul projection isn't limited to the current timeline. Your mom, probably in a dream as perceived by her when it happened, did indeed help your sister with her outfit. Explains the style persisting into her future too, and disappearing from a highly guarded exit that she couldn't have disappeared or exited from if she was just a normal person. It's rather sweet, isn't it? And now time for the quote of the day. Insane people are always sure that they are fine. It is only the sane people who are willing to admit that they are crazy. Nora Ephron. Well, it's that other saying of, you're probably not crazy if you ask yourself the question of, am I crazy? Because there's introspection going on there that a crazy person probably isn't going to have. I don't know if it's true in all cases, but it makes sense to me. So I'll just keep asking, am I crazy? Maybe that in of itself is crazy. I don't know. The mind is a weird thing. By the way, if you want a psychological thriller, I recommend the show Chance on Hulu. It's pretty interesting. It's with Hugh Laurie in it. And he's a neuropsychiatrist. He recommends people to psychologists to help them. But he gets roped into this weird, abusive mystery with one of his patients. Anyways, I don't want to spoil anything, so go give it a watch if you're into that. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.